Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Philippa. Do you want to have some coffee?
Yes, please. Good morning, Heinrich. Did you sleep well?
Oh, thanks. It was great.
Thank you. Me too.
So,
Some milk?
yeah, of course, please. Yeah, then let's go to our desk. Did you also have a nice evening yesterday after the program?
I went to bed right away. I was very
Oh, I had a nice soup.
tired.
Okay, do you have any idea what we have to do? No, before I want to mention something to the people who are watching us. We have two channels. We have an English channel and a German channel, so you can decide which one you want to look at. So, Philippa, what's the plan for today?
First of all, Cornelius will give us a short talk again about the mystery of the day. Afterwards, we will pray the loudest together, and then we will switch to Hungary for the Way of the Cross. All prayers can be downloaded in the description below. In the afternoon, there will be time for prayer in silence. Sometimes when you get quiet, you can listen to your heart better, and my personal experience is that if you need to get something off your chest, confession might help. So if there is a good opportunity for confession in your home church, feel free to go.
And now we want to switch to Münster, to Cornelius Happel. He is a priest of the Emmanuel community and living in Münster. Cornelius, the stage is yours.
I would now like to introduce you to the specifics of the liturgy on Good Friday. Traditionally and customarily, the liturgy is celebrated at 3 p.m. because that is the hour of Jesus' death. Because in this liturgy we celebrate and reenact how Christ dies on the cross. That is why the color of the liturgy is red. Red stands for the blood. In the case of martyrs, when they are remembered, the color red is also taken. On Good Friday, red stands for the blood of Christ. This liturgy begins in silence, without music, in all simplicity. The priest and all the liturgical services move in and perform something called the prostratio. Priests call to service, lie down on the floor, and this also takes place in other liturgies, for example, in the ordination of the priests, or when a monk makes his promise. And this gesture represents a total dedication. This being stretched out on the ground represents the dedication of Jesus, the dedication of his life. That is what we celebrate in this liturgy. The liturgy on this Friday is not a Eucharistic celebration, but a very extended service of the Word. So the Word of God also has a great place in this celebration. The song of the servant of God from the prophet Isaiah is recited every year. The servant who suffers through no fault of his own. The Passion of St. John. Understanding what Jesus experienced is recited on this day in long breath and often musically arranged. Special and unique are also the great 10 intercessions, which are also spoken only on this day. With the calls, bend the knees or kneel and rise. And the special thing about the intercessions is that the whole world is included. It is prayed for the believing Christians, the believing Jews, and for all believers, also for those who cannot believe. The whole world is brought before God in this prayer of petition, which has been said for centuries, almost in the same form as we will do again this year. On Good Friday, the cross is unveiled in a very solemn way. On the so-called Passion Sunday, which is the Sunday before Palm Sunday, the cross is veiled, and this is to help us also enter into a fasting of the eyes. We become more and more accustomed to seeing the cross throughout the year, and that is why when Lent is at its peak, the cross is veiled in churches, sometimes at home, and then unveiled in solemn form at the liturgy on Good Friday. It is carried to the back, and then it is said, "Behold the cross, behold the cross on which hung the salvation of the world." This is followed by the veneration of the cross. Many of you have experienced this. Once a year we consciously come forward and venerate the cross in a very personal way. Some through a genuflection, others touch it. In other centuries it is also customary to kiss the cross. I once experienced these different ways of venerating the cross in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, and there's the rock Golgotha. There were very different people from different nations passing by the cross. We Westerners paused for a long time, meditating. Those from the Eastern churches wept. Others, often Asian people, passed by, taking photos. Everyone has his personal way of living this moment. As we venerate the cross of Jesus, it also means for you this year to come to Jesus in your life, who promised to give his life for you. The liturgy of Good Friday is a service of the Word, as I mentioned. In this service there is a communion celebration at the end. The bread, the body of Christ, which is consecrated and transformed the night before on Maundy Thursday, is now given to us. This has two meanings on Good Friday. First, Jesus gives us the Eucharist as nourishment for the journey. This can have special meaning, especially on a day when no Mass is celebrated. Namely, that through the Eucharist He wants to nourish my life, my soul, and my inner being again. And again, perhaps there is also something for you this year, where you are empty. Especially with the bareness, the silence, the fasting of Good Friday, that we need the nourishment that Jesus gives us. Secondly, the Eucharist on Good Friday can mean the following for us. The bread is broken. Jesus is nailed to the cross. His body is broken, his side pierced. And to receive the Eucharist on this day means that Jesus wants to go with me in my suffering. He wants to be there with me. We can live this attitude through the communion celebration on Good Friday. There is no blessing at the end of this celebration. A prayer is said, a closing prayer, and in this silence and simplicity, the liturgy of Good Friday ends.
Thank you,
I would
Cornelius.
now like to introduce
Now we switch to our chapter.
the specifics of the liturgy on Good
The
Friday.
text can be downloaded in the description below.
Traditionally and customarily, the liturgy is celebrated at 3 p.m. because that is the hour of Jesus.
Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. As it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. This is the love that is love. Its love is love, so stronger than the darkness. This is the love that sets us free. The Son of God who saves us and gives new love. He was like God, but he emptied himself. Like a slave, he was humble, accepting death. This is the love who gave his life. His love is love, for us is stronger than the darkness. This is the love who sets us free. The Son of God who saves us and gives new life. Wanted for us, he has gathered the most. He reveals us the truth, mercy without death. This is the love who gave his life. His love is love, for us is stronger than the darkness. This is the love who sets us free. The Son of God who saves us and gives new life. Shepherd of all, like a lamb who was slain. Son of God who became truly man with us. This is the love who gave his life. His love is love, for us is stronger than the darkness. This is the love who sets us free. The Son of God who saves us and gives new life. God did not spare his Son, but gave him up to suffer for our sin. God did not spare his Son, but gave him up to suffer for our sin. Have mercy on me, God, in your kindness, in your compassion, blot out my offense. Oh, wash me more and more from my guilt, and cleanse me from my sin. My offense is truly, I know them. My sin is always before me. Against you, you alone I have sinned. What is evil in your sight I have done, that you may be justified when you give sentence, and be without reproach when you judge. Oh, see, in guilt I was born, a sinner was I conceived. Indeed, your love, truth in the heart, then in the secret of my heart teach me wisdom. Oh, purify me, then I shall be clean.
we're very sorry. The Laudes is cancelled. But we will go on.
So, we've heard that today we are remembering the suffering of our Lord, and a great way to accompany Jesus on this way is to pray the way of the cross, and that's exactly what we like to do now.
Therefore, we will join the Hungarian community, or you have the opportunity to download the text for the way of the cross and pray it with your household at home.
Upon you by the crowds. Your eyes were ever on Jesus and his pain. Is that the secret of your miraculous strength? How did your loving heart bear such a burden and such a weight? As you watched him stumble and fall, were you tortured by the memory of all the yesterdays, his birth, his hidden life, and his ministry? What a heartache it was to see so many hate him. Hate with a diabolical fury. Take my hand as I make this way of the cross. Inspire me with those thoughts that will make me realize how much he loves me. Give me the light to apply each station to my daily life and to remember my neighbor's needs in this way of the pain. Obtain for me the grace to understand the misery, the wisdom, and the divine love as I go from scene to scene. Grant that my heart, like yours, may be pierced through by the sight of his sorrow and the misery, and that I may determine never to offend him again. What a price he paid to cover my sins, to open the gates of heaven for me, and to fill my soul with his own spirit. Sweet Mother, let us travel this way together, and grant that the love in my poor heart may give you some slight consolation. Amen. Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is Lord, of joy more than measure. First station, Jesus is condemned to death. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the Gospel according to Luke. The third time he said to them, Why, what evil has he done? I have found in him no ground for the sentence of death. I will therefore have him flogged and then release him. But they kept urgently demanding with loud shouts that he should be crucified, and their voices prevailed. So Pilate gave his verdict that their demand should be granted. He released the man they asked for, the one who had been put in prison for insurrection and murder, and handed him over as baby. I see you, Jesus, standing before the governor, who tries 3 times to oppose the will of the people and finally decides not to decide. I see you standing before the crowd. They are asked 3 times, and each time they decide against you. Hidden in the crowd, we lose our individuality. We become the voice of 1,000 other voices. Even before we deny you, we deny ourselves, forgetting our own responsibility in a faceless crowd. And yet, we are responsible. Misled by the crowd, by evil with a deceitful and deafening voice, it is we, all humanity, who condemn you. Today, we are horrified at so great an injustice. We don't want to be a part of it. But in this way, we forget all those times when we ourselves were ready to save Barabbas over you. All those times when our ears were deaf to the voice of goodness, when we preferred not to see the injustice all around us. In that crowded square, it would have been enough for a single heart to hesitate, for a single voice to be raised against the thousand voices of evil. Whenever life sets before us a decision to be made, let us be reminded of the square and that mistake. Let us allow our hearts to hesitate and command our voices to speak out. Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you. For your cross is the root of joy for the nations. Second station. Jesus receives his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you. Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the Gospel according to Mark. Jesus called the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it." I see you, Jesus, crowned with thorns, as you receive your cross. You accept it, as you always accept everything and everyone. They burden you with its wood, heavy and rough, yet you do not rebel. You do not reject that unjust and humiliating instrument of torture. You take it up and begin to walk, carrying it on your shoulders. How many times I have rebelled in anger against burdens I have received, viewing them as heavy or unjust. That is not your way. You are only a few years older than I. Nowadays, we would consider you still young. But you are accepting. You take seriously what life offers you. Every opportunity is present, as if you wanted to go to the very heart of things, to discover that there is always something beyond appearances, something remarkable and meaningful. Thanks to you, I understand that this is a cross of salvation and liberation, a cross that bears me up whenever I stumble, a yoke that is easy, a burden that is light. The scandal of the death of God's Son, a sinner's death, a criminal's death, grants us the grace to discover and amid sorrow your resurrection, amid suffering your glory, amid anguish your salvation. And the cross itself, which speaks us of humiliation and pain, is now revealed, thanks to your sacrifice, as a promise that from every death new light will arise, and in every dark place light will shine. And so we can cry out, Hail, Holy Cross, or One Hope.
First station, Jesus falls for the first time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
From the book of the prophet Isaiah, surely he has borne our infirmities and carried our diseases. Yet we accounted him stricken, struck down by God, and afflicted. I see you, Jesus, making your way to Calvary, bearing our sins. I see you fall, hands and knees on the ground, in pain. With what a great humility did you fall, and with what a great humiliation you now endure. Your human nature, your true manhood, is clearly seen in this fragment of your life. The cross you carry is a heavy one. You need help to carry it, but when you fall to the ground, no one helps you. Instead, people make fun of you. They laugh at the sight of the God who falls. Perhaps they are disappointed. Perhaps they had a mistaken idea of who you are. Sometimes we think that having faith in you means never falling in life. Together with you, I also fall, and my ideas with me, those ideas I had about you, how fragile they were. I see you, Jesus, as you grit your teeth and, in a complete surrender to the love of the Father, you get up and resume your journey. With these, your first faltering steps beneath the cross, Jesus, you remind me of a child taking his first steps in life. Losing his balance, he falls and cries, but then keeps going. He trusts in the hands of his parents and does not give up. He is afraid, but he keeps walking, because trust is stronger than fear. By your courage, you teach us that our failures and falls must never halt our journey, and that we always have a choice to give up or to get up in union with you.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is the Lord, the joy for the nations. Fourth station, Jesus meets his mother. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the Gospel according to Luke. Simeon blessed them and said to his mother Mary, "This child is destined for the falling and the rising many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be opposed, so that the inner thoughts of many will be revealed, and the sword will pierce your own soul too." I see you, Jesus, as you meet your mother. Mary is there, making her way through the crowded street with many persons all around her. The only thing that makes her different from the others is the fact that she is there to accompany her son. Something we see every day. Mothers accompany their children to school or to the doctor, or bringing them to work. Yet Mary is different from other mothers. She is accompanying her son to his death. To see your own child die is the worst, the most unnatural thing that anyone could imagine for a person, and it is all the more atrocious if the child is dying at the hands of the law. How unnatural and unjust is this scene before my eyes. My own mother instilled in me a sense of justice and trust in life, but what I see today has nothing to do with that. It is senseless and painful. I see you, Mary, as you look at your poor child. He bears on his back the marks of the scourge, and he is forced to carry the weight of the cross. Soon, no doubt, in his exhaustion he will fall beneath it. Yet you knew that, sooner or later, this would happen. It was prophesied to you, but now that is taking place, everything is different. That is how things are. We are always unprepared before the harsh realities of life. Mary, now you are sorrowful, as any woman would be in your place, but you do not despair. Your eyes are undimmed. You are not forlorn and downcast. You are radiant even in your sorrow, because you have hope. You know that this journey of your son will not be a one-way trip. You know, you feel, as only mothers can feel,
that soon you will see him again.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you. For your cross is the hope of joy for the nations.
Fifth station. Simon of Cyrene helped Jesus to carry the cross. We adore you, Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. As they led him away, they seized a man, Simon of Cyrene, who was coming from the country, and they laid the cross on him, and made him carry it behind Jesus. I see you, Jesus, crushed beneath the weight of the cross. I see that you can't do it alone. At your moment of greatest need, you remain alone, without those who call themselves your friends. Judas betrayed you. Peter denied you. The others abandoned you. Yet suddenly, there is an unexpected encounter with someone unknown, a mere passerby, who perhaps had only heard about you and not followed you. Yet now here he is, at your side, shoulder to shoulder, to share your yoke. His name is Simon, and he is a stranger come from afar, from Cyrene. For him today, something unexpected happens, which becomes an encounter. Every day we experience any number of encounters and conflicts, especially those of us who are young people. We continually encounter new experiences and new people, in unexpected meetings, in accidental events, in strange surprises. There are hidden opportunities to love, to see the best of our neighbors, even those who seem different from ourselves. At times, Jesus, we feel like you, abandoned by those we thought were our friends, crushed by a heavy burden. Yet we must not forget that there is a Simon of Cyrene, ready to carry our cross. We must remember that we are not alone, and in that realization we will find the strength to take up the cross of those around us. I see you, Jesus. Now you seem to be experiencing a bit of relief. You manage momentarily to catch your breath, now that you are no longer alone. I also see Simon. Who knows if he has realized that your yoke is light, and if he appreciates the meaning of this unexpected event in his life.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you. For your cross is the road of joy for the nations. Sixth station. Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
From the book of the prophet Isaiah. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by others, a man of suffering and acquainted with infirmity, and as one from whom others hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him of no account. I see you, Jesus, wretched and barely recognizable, treated like the least of men. You walk, faltering to your death, your face bleeding and disfigured, yet, as always, meek and humble, looking up. A woman steps out of the crowd to see at close hand that face of yours which, perhaps, had spoken so often to her soul and which she loved. She sees its pain and wants to help. They do not let her pass. There are so many of them, all too many, and they are armed. But to her, none of that matters. She is determined to reach you, and for a moment she manages to touch you, caressing you with her veil. Hers is the power of tenderness. Your eyes meet for a second,
face meets face. We know nothing about that woman, Veronica, or her story. She earns heaven with a simple gesture of charity. She approaches you, sees your suffering face, and loves it even more than before. Veronica does not stop at appearances, which today are so important in our image-conscious society. She loves unconditionally a face that is unsightly, marred, unlovely, and imperfect. That face, your face, Jesus, in its very imperfection, shows the perfection of your love for us.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is the root of joy for the nations.
Seventh station, Jesus falls for the second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the book of the prophet Isaiah. By a perversion of justice he was taken away. Who could have imagined his future? For he was cut off from the land of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people. Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him with pain. I see you, Jesus, fall once more before my eyes. By falling again, you show me that you are a man, a true man. And I see you get up again, more resolute than before. You do not get up with pride. There is no pride in your gaze. There is love. In continuing on your journey, getting up after each fall, you proclaim your resurrection. You show that you are ready, once again and always, to bear on your bleeding shoulders the burden of human sin. By falling again, you sent us a clear message of humility. You fell on the ground, on that humus from which we humans are born. We are dust, we are mud, we are nothing in comparison to you. But you want to become like us, and now you show yourself close to us, with our troubles, our weaknesses, the sweat of our brow. Now on this Friday, as often happens to us, you are overwhelmed by sorrow. But you have the strength to go forward. You are not afraid of the difficulties that lie ahead. And you know that at the end of your struggle there is heaven. You get up precisely to get there, to open before us the gates of your kingdom. What a strange king you are, a king lying in the dust. Suddenly I am thrown into confusion. We are not worthy of comparing our efforts and our falls to yours. Your falls are a sacrifice, the greatest sacrifice that my eyes and all of history will ever be able to see.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is the root of joy for the nations.
Eighth station. Jesus meets the women of Jerusalem. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you,
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
From the Gospel according to Luke. A number of people followed him, and among them were women who were beating their breasts and wailing for him. Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, 'Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed.' Then they will say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if they do this when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry? I see you and I hear you, Jesus, as you speak to the women whom you meet on the way to your death. Each day he would meet any number of people. He would approach everyone and talk to all. Now you speak with the women of Jerusalem, who look at you and cry. I too am one of those women. But you, Jesus, speak words of warning that for me are striking. They are so concrete and direct. At first, they might appear harsh and severe, but that is because they are so direct. Nowadays, we are used to a word where people beat around the bush. A cool hypocrisy veils and filters what we really mean. We are unwilling to correct others. We prefer to leave them to their own devices, not bothering to challenge them for their own needs. Whereas you, Jesus, speak to the women like a father, also warning them. Your words are words of truth, and they are for the sake of correction, not judgment. Yours is a language different from the one we speak. You always speak with humility, and you go straight to the heart of the matter. In this meeting, your last before the cross, we see once more your boundless love for the least, the marginalized. Women in those days were not considered worthy of being spoken to, whereas you, in your kindness, are truly revolutionary.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is the Lord of joy for the nations.
Ninth station. Jesus falls for the third time. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
But he was wounded for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the punishment that made us whole, and by his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray, we have turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. I see you, Jesus, as you fall for the third time. Twice now you have fallen, and twice you have got up. By now, there are no limits to your struggle and your pain. Now, in this third and last hour, you seem completely overwhelmed. How many times in everyday life do we fall? We fall so often that we lose count. Yet we always hope that each fall will be the last, because we need the courage of hope to face suffering. When a person falls that many times, ultimately our strength fails and our hope vanishes. I imagine myself beside you, Jesus, as you make your way to your days. It is hard to think that you are the Son of God himself. Someone has already tried to help you, but now you are exhausted, at a standstill, paralyzed. It seems that you cannot possibly go any farther. Unexpectedly, however, I see you get up straightened your legs and your back, despite the weight of the cross on your shoulder, and begin to walk once more. Yes, you are walking to your days, but you want to do so to the very end. Perhaps this is love. What I understand is that it makes no difference how many times we will fall. There will always be one last time, perhaps the worst, the most terrible trial, when we are called to find the strength to endure to the end of the journey. For Jesus, the end is the crucifixion, the apparent absurdity of this, which nonetheless reveals a deeper meaning, a more sublime purpose, that of saving us all.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you. For your cross is the road of joy for the nations. 10th station. Jesus is stripped of his garments. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the Gospel according to John. When the soldiers had crucified Jesus, they took his clothes and divided them into 4 parts, one for each soldier. They also took his tunic. Now the tunic was seamless, woven in one piece from the top. I see you, Jesus, naked, as I have never seen you before. They have stripped you of your garments, Jesus, and are casting dice for them. In the eyes of these men, you have lost the last shred of your remaining dignity, your one possession of this, your journey of suffering. At the beginning of time, your Father had sewn garments for men to clothe them in dignity. Now, men strip that garment of your back. I see you, Jesus, and I see a young migrant, his body ravished, who arrives in a land that all too often is heartless, ready to strip off his garment, his one treasure, and to sell it. To leave him alone with his cross, like yours, alone with his disfigured skin, like yours, alone with his eyes brimming with tears of pain, like yours. Yet there is something we often forget about dignity. It is found beneath your sin. It is part of you, and it will always be with you. All the more at this moment in this nakedness. The nakedness in which we are born is the same as the nakedness with which the earth will receive us in the evening of our lives, from one mother to another. And now, here on this hill, your mother is also present. Once again, she sees you naked. I see you, and I understand the grandeur and the splendor of your dignity, the dignity of every man, which no one will ever be able to arise. Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you. For your voice is the Lord of joy for the nations.
11th station. Jesus is nailed to the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the Gospel according to Luke. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." I see you, Jesus, stripped of everything. They wanted to punish you, an innocent person, by nailing you to the wood of the cross. What would I have done in your place? Would I have had the courage to acknowledge the truth, your truth, my truth? You had the strength to bear the weight of the cross, to meet with disbelief, to be condemned for your provocative words. Today we can barely swallow a critical comment, as if every word was meant to hurt us. You did not stop even before death. You believed deeply in your mission, and you put your trust in your Father. Today, in the world of internet, we are so conditioned by everything that circulates on the web. There are times when I doubt even my own words. But your words are different. They are powerful in your weakness. You have forgiven us. You held no grudge. You taught us to offer the other cheek, and you kept going, even to the total sacrifice of yourself. I look all around and I see eyes glued to telephone screens, people trolling the social networks in order to nail others for their every mistake, with no possibility for forgiveness. People ruled by anger, screaming their hatred of one another for the most futile reasons. I look at your wounds and I realize now that I would not have had your strength. But I am seated here at your feet, and I strip myself of all hesitation. I get up in order to be closer to you, even if by a fraction of an inch.
Jesus dies on the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you. Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the Gospel according to Luke. It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon, while the sun's light fell, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying with a loud voice, said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. Having said this, he breathed his last. When the centurion saw what had taken place, he praised God and said, Certainly, this man was innocent. I see you, Jesus, but this time I would rather not see. You are dying. You were beautiful to behold when you spoke to the crowds, but now all that has come to an end. I do not want to see that end. All too often I have averted my gaze. I have become almost accustomed to fleet pain and death. I have become numb to them. Your cry on the cross is loud and heart-rending. We were not prepared for all that pain. We are not, nor will we ever be. Instinctively, we flee in panic before death and suffering. We reject them. We prefer look away or to close our eyes. Instead, you remain there, on the cross. You await us with open arms. You open our eyes. This is a great mystery, Jesus. You love us by dying, by suffering abandonment, by bestowing your spirit, by doing the Father's will, by withdrawing. You remain on the cross, and that is all. You do not try to explain the mystery of death or destruction of all things. You do more.
cross over it completely in body and spirit. A great mystery. One that continues to question us and to unsettle us. It challenges us. It invites us to open our eyes and to see your love even in death. Indeed, even starting from death itself. It is there that you loved us. We really are. Loved us as we really are, truly and inevitably. It is there that we grasp, however imperfectly, your living and authentic presence. We will always thirst for this, for your closeness, for your being God with us.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is the road of joy for the nations.
13th station. Jesus is taken down from the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you. Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. From the Gospel according to John. After these things, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Jesus, though a secret one because of his fear of the Jews, asked Pilate to let him take away the body of Jesus. Pilate gave him permission. So he came and removed his body. Nicodemus, who had at first come to Jesus by night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, weighing about 100 pounds. They took the body of Jesus and wrapped it in the spices in linen cloths, according to the burial custom of the Jews. I see you, Jesus, remaining there on the cross, a man of flesh and bones, with all their frailty, all their fears. How greatly did you suffer? It is an unbearable scene, perhaps because it is so drenched in humanity. This word is the key, the cipher of your journey, filled with such suffering and fatigue. It is your humanity that so often we forget to acknowledge in you and to seek in ourselves and in others. For we are all too caught up in a life ever more fast-paced, blind and deaf to the difficulties and the pain of others. I see you, Jesus. Now you are no longer there on the cross. You have gone back from where you came, laid upon the lap of the earth, upon the lap of your mother. The suffering is now past, vanished. This is the hour of mercy. Your lifeless body continues to speak of the strength with which you faced suffering. The meaning that you gave it is reflected in the eyes of those still there at your side and will always remain there in love, given and received. Before you and before us opens a new life, heavenly life, marked by the one thing that resists and remains unbroken by death, love. You are here with us at every moment, at every step, in every uncertainty, in every shadow. While the shadow of the tomb lengthens on your body, held in the arms of your mother, I see you and I'm afraid, yet I do not despair. I trust the light, your light, will shine once again.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is the road of joy for the nations.
14th station. Jesus is laid in the tomb. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you.
Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world.
From the Gospel according to John. Now there was a garden in the place where he was crucified, and in the garden there was a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid. And so, because it was a Jewish day of the preparation, and the tomb was nearby, they laid Jesus there. No longer do I see you, Jesus. Now all is dark. Long shadows fall from the hills, and the Shabbat lamps light up Jerusalem, outside homes and within. They beat against the gates of the heaven, closed and impregnable. For whom is all this solitude? Who can sleep on night like this? The city is filled with the sound of children crying, mothers singing, soldiers making their rounds. The day is dying, and you alone are sleeping. Are you sleeping? And on what bed? What blanket hides you from the world? From afar, Joseph of Arimathea followed your steps, and now, with the quiet steps, accompanies you in your sleep, withdraws you from the stares of the indignant and malicious. A sheet enfolds you in the chill of death, and dries your blood, sweat, and tears. From the cross you descend, but lightly. Joseph carries you in his shoulders, but you are light. No longer bear the burden of death, of hatred and anger. You sleep as you did in the warm straw, when you were wrapped in the swaddling clothes, and another Joseph had you in his arms. Just that there was no room for you then, so now you have nowhere to lay your head. Yet on Calvary, on the stiff neck on the word, there grows a garden in which no one had yet been buried. Where have you gone up, Jesus? Where have you descended, if not into the depths? Where, if not a place still untouched, in an even tighter cell? You are caught in our snares, imprisoned in our sadness. Like us, you walk on the earth, and now, like us, under the earth, you make room for yourself. I would like to run far away, but you are there within me. I need to go out to seek you, because you are knocking at my door.
Praise to you, Lord. Glory to you, for your cross is the hope of joy for your nation.
Thank you, Mother Mary, that you have accompanied us on this way of the cross. Hail Mary,
Full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We'll be back at 2 p.m. for a talk from Rwanda given by François Xavier and Yvonne Solange. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.